How do you overcome aging, catastrophic or chronic illness, and avoid injury to get fit at any age? Well, the coaches at my gym have taught me 5 simple strategies that have really helped me, and I think they may help you too. Well, let's jump right into it. Aging brings stiff joints, muscle loss, slower recovery, illness like my heart attack and double bypass surgery can put you out of commission for months, and injuries like the arthritis I have in my shoulder can make some movements difficult. But the good news is you can overcome all of that and still get fit. Strategy number 1 is progression. Progression means making simple exercises gradually and bit by bit harder so that you build muscle safely. For example, you may have seen, if you've been to my channel, 70 Unbroken, a video of me jumping up on a 25-inch box. And by the way, for those who are checking my math, it was a 24-inch box on 1-inch plates for 25 inches. But you may have seen me jumping up on a 25-inch box. However, I didn't start doing that. I started off when I first went to the CrossFit gym at the age of 68 doing plate hops. And I could barely do those. So doing plate hops. Then later on, I started stepping up to a 16-inch box. And then I'll never forget that day where I took a literal leap of faith and jumped on a 16-inch box. And since then, I've been able to conquer the 20-inch box and a 24-inch box, but that's called progression. I didn't start off jumping on 24-inch boxes. I started off with plate hops. You can progress too. Strategy number 2, scaling. Scaling is the methodology by which progression works, and it just means adjusting exercises to make them easier or lighter so that you can gradually build up to heavier. For example, it's nice to be able to do a standard push-up off the floor, but if you can't do that, maybe you can do a push-up off your knees. And if you can't do that, maybe you can do a push-up off a low box or off a high box or even off a wall. The idea is just to scale that movement down to what you can do and be satisfied with that until you can progress. Strategy number 3 is substitution. Substitution is akin to scaling, but it's a little bit different. Scaling is doing the same movement in just a simpler way. Substitution means finding a whole different exercise that still works the same muscle groups. So, for example, if your joint issues prevent you from running or jogging or even walking, maybe you could bike, maybe you could swim, maybe you could row. In my case, on occasion, the arthritis in my right shoulder flares up. It gets to be pretty painful. It's not damaging anything, but it hurts. And in that case, rather than doing a standard pull-up, I might do a bent over row. That's a substitution. Strategy number 4 is stretching, and especially after workouts. You need to stretch those muscles out to stay limber and to avoid injury. And if I'm to be honest, that's probably the weakest point in my fitness routines. I don't stretch as much as I should, but I'm trying to get better at it. And we can use stretching to help us defy age and avoid injury. Finally, strategy number 5 is rest, recovery, and sleep. So by recovery or active recovery, I mean doing something but not too strenuous. For me, on Saturdays, I go for a walk, a long walk. So that's active recovery. But you also need rest days. For example, for me, on Sundays for sure, I take off and I don't do any really exercising at all, generally. And you also need to dial in your sleep. Sleep is an important part of getting fit at any age. Really need to try to go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time every day, and make sure you get enough rest that way. Final thought I want to share with you today is that your ego is not your friend. Remember, the goal is to progress, not impress. I think that a lot of injuries that people experience in CrossFit or in any type of sport activity or getting fit come from ego. If you focus on progressing and scaling and substituting appropriately and resting and recovering when you need to, you will get better and better. Using those techniques over the past few years, from the time I was 68 to the time now when I'm 72, have helped me recover from a heart attack. It's helped me lose about 20 pounds. I can deadlift 1.5 times my body weight. I can do a couple of pull-ups. And how did I get there? I didn't start there, but I progressed to there using the techniques I've shared in this video. So I hope you found this helpful. Hey, drop me a comment if you did. Tell me what your thoughts are on these topics, and I'll see you in the next video.